What's up, guys? NepentheZ here, and welcome back to another episode of the Arsenal Evo RTG. Today, we have got to talk about the series. It's not in a place of angst or anger. I'm not coming off the back of gameplay and being in like a frustrated mood because of the gameplay. But we've got some things to talk about. So settle in, guys. I'm going to try and make this concise. I'm going to try and not be moany or complainy because it's not about that. And I'm going to try and I want to have a discussion with you guys about kind of like where we go, because I'm having a big issue with this account right now. And part of that issue is 100% a skill issue, right? Like there's days where I'm enjoying this game and feel like I'm very good and get it. And then there's days where I'm just like, I don't know how to play this game. And some of that is like kind of compounded by how bad my team is. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here today. I obviously love the Arsenal Evo RTG. There's a reason why we have got hundreds of games on lots and lots of players, including Havertz now on 815. We've even got someone like Maritz here, who's just an 86 rated fullback on 577 games. It's not for the want of trying that I'm at this point in time where I'm at right now. It is literally just off the back of I just feel a little bit stuck, right? And when we first started this account, it was an Arsenal Evo RTG. So the rules were, the self-imposed rules, of course, were the only thing we're allowed to Evo as Arsenal players. Everything else was like open. We used the Real Madrid boys at the start of the year. We used Messi at the start of the year. We had like a different team, and we actually introduced Arsenal Evo players into the team. What started to happen over the next month or so was that the Evos that EA were giving were allowing me to upgrade Arsenal players to being quite good compared to where the kind of like power curve was back then. We're 3 months into this game now? 3 months into this game now. And so for the first, surely it's not that long. Is it that long? No, it might only be 2 months. 2 months into this game. However long it is, right? However long it is, 2.5 months or whatever. When I upgraded, for example, like Kivior up to this 85 rated centre back, however many weeks ago that was, he was all right compared to what was available then. Havertz was all right compared to what was available then. Nketiah was actually quite good compared to what was available then. But as time's gone on, the power curve has spiked massively, and everybody's team now is insane, like literally insane. And this team just doesn't compete. When I look at this team and I think about who the meta players are, first and foremost, I actually don't think we've got a single meta player. And then secondly, I think when I look at who the best players are, it's Ødegaard, who is good, but even then he's not quote-unquote meta. He's got some really fun play styles. He's got some really cool in-game stats, and he's got 5-star skill moves. He's probably like the closest, or you might be able to consider him meta, but he's definitely the closest. And then Kim Little as well is very, very good, but only 3-star, 4-star. And I don't know what it is about her. Like, I actually quite like her. I don't think there's any problems with her too much. But those two cards there are very good. Everybody else is just really poor. And in previous years in FIFA, before FC24 existed, even with a team like this, I would be able to get like just comfortable performances. I'd probably still be in the high divisions in Rivals if I wanted to be. I would still be hitting my perceived expected rank in Champs, which I am just at the moment, but it is like clinging on by dear life. Like in previous RTGs, we would get to 11 wins and stop, not finish on 11 wins. And that's the difference this year. Like last year, we'd get to 11-1, 11-2, maybe on a bad week, 11-3. And the conversation would be, do I really care to push to 14? And the answer would be no, because the rewards aren't worth it. And so we'd stop at 11, we'd give away the rest of the wins. Sometimes we'd get given a couple of wins, and so we'd then go to 14 wins. And we'd end up being in a position where we would actually enjoy our time. Getting those 11 wins was genuinely easy, right? Now, I'm actually fighting to get, as it turns out, mostly 12 or 13 wins. We've hit 14 wins once on this account. We've hit 11 wins actually hit 11 wins, like finished on 11 wins, trying for 20 games 2 times on this account. And then all the rest of the times we've hit between 12 and 13 wins. And that's where like it's definitely partly skill issue that comes into this, but also the team is the biggest, most significant thing it's ever been in this game ever. You know, if you watch my content over time in history, I'll always say the team's not the most important thing, you know, and the team is like the person in control of the team is the most important thing. And I'll always be like valued to the fact that you can perform very well with a less than meta team. You just have to kind of like apply yourself differently. And although I'm not saying this year that the team is everything, and it also sounds super convenient that the year that I'm struggling is the year that I'm like, oh, by the way, team's different. But the proof is in the pudding, right? You've seen, if you guys watch the #house videos, if those guys don't use a full meta team, they struggle. They take losses, 2, 3, 4 losses. This is pro players that are going 16-4 with a less than meta team. So when you then put the game into the hands of someone like myself, who's just not a pro, right? Okay, I'm experienced on the game, but I'm definitely not a pro. What chance have I got? And the difference this year that we didn't have in previous years is playstyles and playstyle pluses. And this team, yes, okay, it's got some playstyle pluses, but first of all, only 4. But second of all, it just doesn't have play styles. You know, like, and if it does have play styles and something that makes sense, it's on the wrong person. Like Russo has got 2 of my actual favorite play styles this year, power header and aerial, but she's only 5 for 8. So it's kind of like, it kind of negates the purpose of having these play styles when you're coming up against Virgil van Dijk and Laurent Blanc, where it doesn't matter if you've got, she could even have power header plus or aerial plus, and that Virgil van Dijk is still going to bully her because he's also got aerial plus. And he's like 6'11", you know, so it makes a big difference. And you can see again, even on Russo here, we've got 96 games on her. It's not for the want of trying. And so when I was like competing reasonably well with this team, when we was getting to 14 wins in champs with the Arsenal team, and I thought, yeah, do you know what? Let's just go all Arsenal because this will be great. This will be a great series. I didn't anticipate that what EA would begin doing with evolutions would be where we're at. And effectively what's happened with the way EA have done evolutions is I haven't really changed the main team in the longest time. And instead, what has transpired is I've kind of just been like upgrading bench players. You know, we've got an upgrade on Trossard. We've got an upgrade on Pepe. Even Ljungberg, you know, it was a card we didn't have. We've got an upgrade on him. We've got an upgrade on Partey. Walty has been the same card for about a month, maybe 6 weeks. And when we look at the other Arsenal players that we've got, we haven't upgraded Smith Rowe since the first week of the game. Cedric has been the same card for about 5-6 weeks. Fabio Vieira, God bless him, we finally got him, is an 81. El Neni's an 80. And the next upgrades that come, and I've seen some of the leaked options that are here, and although actually, the truth be told, the upgrade for McCabe, the left-back one, is quite a significant improvement to the team at left-back. We haven't been able to upgrade Wubben in an extremely long time. Now, this is a player that, for the first 100, 150 games that we played with her, she was good enough to compete with the kind of attackers we were coming up against. But now, all we come up against is Player of the Month Mbappe, Player of the Month Salah, Player of the Month Son, like Centurions, Rashford, icons. Because of the amount of icon packs and because of the Black Friday promo, everybody's team accelerated massively, to the point where even someone like Jakob Kivior that I quite like just isn't good enough, right? He's just not good enough. He's way too slow. He's a bit too heavy on dribbling. And although he's got intercept plus, which I really like on him and it really serves him well, he doesn't have anticipate, which doesn't help. He doesn't have a passing, it doesn't have a physical play style, you know, which mostly would be nice to have aerial, which would really help him. And he has that weird pace split. So even though he's got reasonably good sprint speeds, again, when you come up against one of these 99 pace attackers that you inevitably come up against, he is just too slow. And it compounds frustration for me when I'm playing the game, because I'm sort of like, I read that, I was there for that, how did I not get that? How has my player not intercepted that? How have I not tackled the ball there? And the truth be told is because I'm using, if you like remove the mask of the Evo kind of like card types, I'm using an 85 rated centre back and an 83 rated centre back. I'm using, we can ignore Pullover because Thomas Partey's in there, but I'm using, you know, an 85 rated winger, an 87 rated, and an 87 rated. And although they have got some nuanced things that are quite good, you know, like Kai Havertz is very fast with 4-star, 5-star. Again, truth be told, look at his dribbling. He's just way too heavy, right? He's just way too heavy. So when I was playing Rivals last night and I played, I think, 8 games and I drew 1 and I won 1 and I lost 6. And the thing that kind of like made me start questioning what I'm doing with this account wasn't the fact that I lost 6 games, because I've lost a lot of games this year already. Like, losing has kind of like lost that kind of like that ego trip of like, oh, I hate losing, I don't want to lose, has gone because of what we're doing on the account. But I didn't just lose games last night, I lost games last night. I was getting absolutely battered 4 or 5 goals, like, you know, like 3-0 down at halftime in a game where I'm just not competitive, I'm not competing. And that's why I say a part of it is definitely a skill issue, but that skill issue is compounded by the fact that I can't find my skill level because I'm using players that are not good enough. And so what I want to do before I go into what we're going to do about this, because this isn't just a, hey, I'm really bored of this, and this isn't the end of the series either. This isn't a, guys, we've hit our limit, this is the end. What I want to do before we go into what we're going to do about it is just show you the kind of team in Division 5 that I'm coming up against. Now, I'm actually just going to give the guy a win, whoever I come up against. We're just going to give a win. But here we go. Let's go into a team, and we're just going to take stock on the standard general level of team we come up against and express how far away this Arsenal squad is from our opponent's squad. So, what have they got? They have got, I'm going to guess Schmeichel in goal, Radetzky in goal, Cordoba and Tiddy, Socrates, Vieira, Neymar, Smith, Loftus-Cheek, Dembele, and Dodo. Now, to be fair, this isn't actually that bad of a team, right? This isn't that bad of a team. However, let me just do this right here. However, where's the squad? Obviously, Neymar is insane in this game. Smith is insane in this game. Dembele is very good, and what does he have? Super pace, right? Socrates is amazing. Vieira is insane. Loftus-Cheek is also insane. Titi's very good. The back line for this guy is probably the weakest part of his team, to be fair. But his midfield and attack, this is where the problem lies, right? Against players like Dembele, Smith, and Neymar, my team is way too bad, way too slow, and just doesn't compete. And to be fair, I actually didn't expect that quote-unquote bad of a team, right? I expected, I want to, for the sake of experiment, I want to do it one more time. I want to have a look at the next opponent's team, because maybe it's just the time of day, because I play a lot of Rivals at like late night, like between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Maybe there was like demon hours. Maybe I should start playing my Rivals like midday. Maybe we get all the people that aren't demons. But what we got to like, what I try and like think about and remember is like, this is Division 5, which obviously we've got a lot of people sandbagging this year, and we've had like shorter seasons, which has had an influence. But here we go, another team there. Zico, Okocha, Dembele again. That's actually not as bad. I wish I was recording this last night when I was coming up against like every single meta icon in the game, because although to be fair, still Joelinton's probably a weaker card for him. Okocha's awesome. This Lewandowski is genuinely awesome. This Dembele is awesome. Rice, okay, I have Rice. Zico's insane. Karchau is insane. That centre-back pairing is very good. Donnarumma's very good. He's got Van Dijk on the bench. How about that? But in general, let me give this guy the win real quick. In general, the average team, I might, do you know what? Although it's not going to change anything, buddy, I'm going to literally give you a, although it's not going to change anything, it's crazy the difference in team that I'm playing right here. He's actually celebrating me giving him a goal. That's unbelievable. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's crazy the difference. And even then, like those teams are still better. Like that Lewandowski compared to Russo or even Jesus to a degree is just like worlds better. Now, as I say, what I'm not here to do is just to be like, oh guys, this series is dead because my team's not good enough. And like I'm crying about that, so I'm ending it. I've invested way too much time into this account and way too much like emotion into this account to just be like, well, yeah, it's kind of run its course. Let's abandon it. And I still believe that in time and over time, the right Evo paths will come up where I will be able to create a team that is competitive. But what's happened on this account, just to kind of like summarize, is everybody else's team has spiked massively. The power curve has spiked massively, and largely due to the Black Friday Thunderstruck week, which was an awesome week of content. Everybody else's team has improved significantly, including mine, right? Just not the Arsenal part. When we look at some of the best players that I've got, Prince, Garincha, Katoto, Inform Bon Mati is amazing. We've got Messi, we've got this Bernardo Silva, we've got this 90 rated, upgradable, who's he play for? Barcelona. Well, he's already got the one win, so he's going to get a play style off that. You know, we've got the Luis Figo there. We've got Basha, who's amazing. We've got Kaka, who's amazing. We've got Lucio. We've got Joao Pedro, who's amazing. And I look at these players. We've even got Schmeichel, who would be by far the best goalkeeper that I've got. If I put together my best team from what we've actually achieved over the last sort of like 2 or 3 weeks of grinding this account, and that's bearing in mind that I've even put some of the big players I had into SBCs because I was all like, oh, Arsenal only, right? But if I put my best team together and then spent the coins that I've got improving other areas, I've got an insane team on this RTG, right? If you come up against like Luis Figo, Kaka, Garincha, and Jesus, even Pop, because I think she's got a really cool card, or Prince, right? Prince actually I think would be insane for it. If you came up against the front line like that, your mentality would be like, oh, for crying out, look at this team, right? Then you come up against my Arsenal Evo team and you're like, oh yeah, look at this team. And so whilst we kind of wait for EA to change, like where I was getting at was the power curve of everybody's team, including mine outside of the Arsenal setup, is just changed massively, right? And it's been really disappointing with the way EA have managed and run evolutions to the point where they seem so inherently scared of giving an evolution that gives somebody an OP player in spite of the fact that everybody else already has OP players, that all we've done over the last pretty much month or so is take average players and make them a little bit better, or take terrible players and make them average, right? Like I say, like when we look at the Evos that we've actually got, Leia Codina, if we look at the Evos that aren't on the team right now and go to these Arsenal specials, El Neni, Vieira, Cedric, and Smith Rowe are 4 players that are probably like Cedric, Fabio Vieira, and El Neni are probably 3 Evos away from being good or even very good, right? Smith Rowe is probably 2 Evos away from it, which means just for these 4 players alone, we're, 11 Evo paths away from making this quartet usable in the current game. Now, we're only getting about 4 Evos a week at the moment, and they're not all centered towards the positions that are suiting me, right? Like we've had a lot of like fullback Evos recently. And so the issue with the fullbacks is, I've now got like Ben White, a right back, and Maritz, a right back, both 86 rated, both reasonable players, but both of them 1 Evo away from being very good. Like if we could get another Evo on Maritz and get her 1 more upgrade in stats, but more importantly, an upgrade in play styles. If we could get her anticipate and whipped pass, for example, all of a sudden, this is an elite level fullback. And it's the same with Ben White, right? If we could get on him, even though we're playing him at centre back, anticipate, maybe aerial, and then a boost that gives a bit physical, perhaps, a little bit of pace, maybe even just 3 or 4 pace points, perhaps. all of a sudden, I look at Ben White and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? This is a legitimate player, or even a play style plus. You know, like if we could get like Anticipate plus or Aerial plus on Ben White, it's big difference. But the problem is, as I say, is we're waiting several weeks to get an Evo that works, that makes sense, let alone one that makes a player exceptional, right? And so EA are obviously scared of giving too much through Evos. And that means that my Evo team's been like progressing a little bit at a time, and everything else is progressing like through the roof. You know, it's going like to the moon, right? And so even the promo cards that Arsenal are getting, the Gabriel Jesus, the Kim Little, the Martin Odegaard, and right now as well, you know, Alexander Zinchenko. If we go to the concept players here, and we look, even Bukayo Saka, who's unfortunately, his price has gone right up again, but now as a 91, it's a pretty cool card. But do you know what the problem with this is again? Just doesn't have play styles, right? He'd be good, but he'd still not be good enough. But like, if you know, we've got this Zinchenko. This is a pretty cool card. Again, doesn't really have the passing or defending play styles that you would want, but in terms of the stats, it's probably better than any left back that I've got. But I actually think McCabe, once evoed, is much better than Zinchenko. So even if we went out and picked up all of these promo cards, this team's still 3, maybe even 4 steps behind the power curve. So what are we going to do about it, right? Like I said, I've invested way too much time and way too much emotion into this account to just let it go. I appreciate that over the months, we've gone from like the Arsenal Evo side of things to just a full Arsenal team. But it's what's ended up happening by making the full Arsenal team the Evo only Arsenal RTG is rewards have become irrelevant, packs have become irrelevant, coins have become irrelevant, because everything's just waiting for EA to give an evolution that is like, oh yeah, an Arsenal player fits in it. Let's upgrade that Arsenal player. Doesn't change the team. Now we're waiting again for EA. And we're at EA's mercy for the whole series. So the thing that we're going to do about it instead is almost take a step back to what we were doing before that I stepped away from. And that is adding icons into the team. And one of the things that I got wrong when I added icons into the team last time was I just bought the cheapest icons and hoped that it made the biggest difference. And it might have even made a difference, I don't know. But what I want to do this time is start working towards the best icons and start adding in around the icons the best Evos and promo cards that we've got. And then as we can upgrade the Evos and as we can improve the team via promo cards or via Arsenal icons, actually do that. So, you know, instead of using that full Arsenal Evo team, this team right here, obviously this is going to cost a lot of coins because Thierry Henry specifically is crazy expensive. But check the 89 Cole, the 87 Sol Campbell, we can get those. Vieira, not overly impossible. It will take time and effort, but it will give us somewhere to work towards. And in the meantime, instead of Henry, we can go and get that Dennis Bergkamp. We can go and get that. Base Ashley Cole. I actually think McCabe would probably be better, to be fair. But although, like, you know, I remember saying, like, I didn't enjoy Dennis Bergkamp when I used him. A, maybe I used him wrong. But B, I didn't really know how the game played quite like I do now. When I look at Dennis Bergkamp now and I think, yeah, he's got some fun play styles, I still don't actually think Dennis Bergkamp is the sort of player that I would want beyond what I've already got. But we've also got icons like Van Persie. I know some Arsenal fans aren't the keenest on Van Persie, but what I like about Van Persie is high-low, 6'2", 4-star, 4-star, with cracking stats and cracking play styles. Doesn't really have physical play styles again, but there's options. There's options with the Arsenal icons and the Arsenal promo cards to kind of bring the team up and get it into a position where we're a little bit more competitive and where we're going back to the point where 11 wins is a given and 14 wins is a test, rather than 11 wins being a test. And the idea beyond that would be to still evolve the Arsenal players as and when they come through, but try and just build into a team that actually fits the meta a little bit more and makes a little bit more sense with regards to enjoying playing the game. Because I think the most frustrating part right now, the thing that I'm missing the most out of this, is I'm going into every game hoping to just like play without that cloud over my head. Play with like it's really, really weird to explain. But at the moment, when I go into a game, it feels like there's this dark cloud. It feels like I can't play because I'm getting suffocated by everybody else's team. And although this team doesn't really express that very well, even with the players we've got here, one of the big functions, one of the big factors, let me go back to my main team so I can show you guys like better. And maybe this will help you with your teams as well, right? Maybe it won't. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, what is this guy even talking about? But one of the biggest issues, one of the genuine biggest concerns about the team that I've got here is it has got almost no pace. And if it does have pace, it's not coupled with the correct things that help the pace. So, for example, Gio Quiroz has got 99 pace with the playstyle, with the chem style, sorry, right? And she's got all right dribbling. I'm not even going to dare say it's good because it's not. The composure's low, the reactions are super low, the other stats are okay. But the problem with this Gio Quiroz is there's no point getting in behind with her because one thing that I've found is significantly important in this game is passing. She's got terrible passing and no passing play styles. And it's like, yeah, fair enough, right? Like, she's fast. I can get down the wing with her. Then I cross a ball in and it goes to no one. It pass the ball inside, goes to a defender. And it's the same with like Havertz. Like, Havertz has got, with the chem style at the moment, 89 acceleration, 95 sprint speed. That's reasonably fast. But because of his agility and balance, because of his height and his lack of passing play styles as well, just not a good passer of thought. And you don't realize how valuable passing is until you come up against these guys who have got these insane passers who are also super fast with passing play styles. And you're like, God damn, why can't I do that? And even like in the defense, right? Like Ben White, my fullback, having 89 sprint speed and 86 acceleration. When I come up against whoever it may be down that left-hand side and they play a chip through ball over the top, Ben White just doesn't have it. He's just not there. He's not quick enough to go and get the ball. Same with Maritz down the other end. She's reasonably fast, right? 96 sprint speed, 92 acceleration, but it's not 99. She's probably like one of the cards that's like one of the best out there for me, to be fair. Jakob Kivior, as explained, just too slow. Even Saliba, he is falling way behind the power curve. That agility and balance doesn't help him. He's got two good play styles on him as well, but when I'm trying, like, I see a lot of people say, slow your game down, like just slow the game down and try and like play smart. And I'm like, okay, let me slow the game down. You just get suffocated by these 71 depth, really intense pace, really good players, really good play styles players. And I'll try and play just from like a centre back to a right back. And as soon as I press the pass, a winger is like cutting onto me, pressing me intensely quickly. And then I don't have the player that has the like mechanics available to do what I need to do to get out of that situation. I don't have skill moves on my player. I don't have 99 pace to just do a 1-2 inside and bomb down the wing. I'm gone. And so that's where it comes down to the skill issue, right? I also don't have the skill to play without those extremely fast players. So one of the things we'll be working on with this team is to try and get pace into the team a little bit more, sensible kind of pace into the team, not just like Gio Quiroz, not just like a 99 pace player that makes sense, but try and build the team into a way where it's far more functionable, it sets up a lot better, it defends a lot better, and it allows me to attack a lot more creatively. Because the other like kind of, I'm going to try and finalize here and finish up, but the other final point on the attacking side of things outside of having lack of pace is it's so easy to read a team like this. No finesse shot plus, no aerial plus, no Travella plus. Okay, I've got Robert Pires on the bench, I know. Other than Havertz, Russo, 3-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, medium work rates as well, doesn't help. Really easy to read. Gio Quiroz, 3-star, 4-star. We've got Pepe. He's got good like some good properties, but even then his dribbling so mid, his physical's terrible, his passing bang average. He's got 2-star weak foot. We've got in terms of the offense, Eddie Nketiah, who's got genuinely very good stats in terms of like the positioning, finishing, shot power, and he's got finesse shot and chip shot, which I find really helpful. But when you've got somebody who's got 3-star, and you get into the box and they have the dribbling stats that he has, I sit there and I tear my hair out and I'm like, how the hell has that guy dribbled around in the box so like with that close control around my defenders and around my tackles? And it's like, oh, it's because he's got Salah Player of the Month. And what Salah Player of the Month has got, let's head on over to him here. what Salah Player of the Month has got, or whatever this one is those dribbling stats and those shooting stats and those pace stats and all of these play styles, including technical plus and rapid. And it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense why somebody's got Salah in the box and they can shot goal, and I've got Nketiah in the box or Russo in the box or even Jesus in the box to a degree. He's got a little bit better dribbling for sure. But even Jesus in the box, and I'm struggling to find what to do. Now, when I look at Jesus, he's probably one of the better options I maybe should focus on a little bit more. He has got the 4-star skill moves as well. He has been good when I've used him too, to be fair. It comes back down to that whole, I don't know how to play the game with someone like Jesus. And this is what I mean by like where the skill issue is compounded by the team issue. I don't know how to dribble with someone like Jesus because I haven't had someone like Jesus. And it's almost having to like relearn how to play the game with good players because I'm still using good players like they're bad players because I'm so used to playing with bad players. And so in long, because I want to say in short, but I've waffled on a lot, Evos have just not kept up with the power curve and how good people's teams are in this game. And so this team has fallen massively behind. And because it's fallen massively behind, I'm not good enough to get enjoyment out of this game, and I'm not good enough to get wins consistently in this game. And so I'm fighting in every game. And because of that, I'm not in, the gameplay is very moany and complainy. And I'm not producing content that I want to produce because of that. And so what I wanted to do was change. And so one of the changes I'm going to make is start introducing Arsenal icons. I don't want to do Arsenal past and present. I don't want to go down that route. I don't mind doing Arsenal current and icons, right? I don't want to start throwing like a Aubameyang in and Coquelin in and Bellerin in. That for me, I don't get the attachment into the series out of that, and I'll grow bored. And I had considered turning it back into like a regular Road to Glory, where we just have the best Arsenal players surrounded by the Kakas and the Grinches and stuff, and that will be like the next step, right? So if we start introducing the Arsenal icons into the team, and it's still just as frustrating because I can't get Henry and Vieira, and everyone else is basically as good as everyone that I've got, then it'll be like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board, maybe start looking at using the Grinchia, the Figo, the Kaka, etc. But for now, that's where we're at. Sorry that took about half an hour to explain and express through. I just wanted to make sure I was thorough with it because this, as I say, like this isn't me coming off the back of a loss and frustrated gameplay or off the back of a state of boredom. I love playing on this account, and all I want to do is play the game, right? Like I say, like last night I played 8 Rivals games, I lost 6 of them. But I kept going into another game because I just want to play the game. And I haven't had that desire to play the game in about 2 or 3 years of FC24/FIFAs. But because of the Arsenal Evo RTG, my desire to play the game is there massively. And it's when I actually get into that game, it's just not fun. And so I need to find a way to inject fun into wanting to play the game with this team. But for today, guys, that is going to be the end. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, guys, I'm out. Peace.